to me, that's inspirational, whether it, just listening to Caitlin, her work ethic and what's important to her. And I mean, she's just starting, her round of golf, if her journey. I
was trying to think of who else maybe could play today, especially in women's sports that would.
What if I told you that one athlete could shatter the very definition of a superstar in a single day? This isn't a hypothetical question. It's exactly what happened when Caitlin Clark, the woman who changed basketball history, went onto a golf course and accomplished the unthinkable on a windy Friday morning, an event that nobody anticipated would become legendary. It wasn't just a round of golf that Clark played. She sent a shockwave through the whole sports world, leaving popular figures like Steph Curry and Tiger Woods awestruck.
Yeah. All roads lead to the Annika Pro-Am. Trust me, all roads, all cameras, all people will be tuned in for the Annika Pro-Am. Why? To see the GOAT, Caitlin Clark, take over the
However, a deafening quiet emanated from the WNBA, the very place she called home, as the golfing elite hurried to greet her. Yao Wilson and Angel Reese, her adversaries, remained silent. I want you to consider this right now. Did Caitlin Clark outperform her rivals to the point where they couldn't stand to see her shine? Please share your theory with me in the comments section below. The RSM Classic Prom was where it all began. This event is typically a laid-back, celebrity-filled warm-up, an informal display with low stakes and a light-hearted atmosphere. However, that tradition was destroyed as soon as Caitlin Clark's name was added to the player list, and it was replaced with a media frenzy that is uncommon outside of big championships. A fringe athletic event became the main event as the story went viral on social media. Fans, some of whom had driven through the night to see history, started lining the course hours before daylight. There was a tangible sense of wonder and steadfast faith from her devoted followers.
Every media outlet is covering this, and you don't say anything. That's what we were talking about this whole season. We were correct. The fans that were saying that the WNBA seems to be trying to quiet the noise of Caitlin Clark, not letting her shine to her full.
Tickets sold out in a matter of minutes, making them the most sought-after item in sports. Resale prices surged to heights usually only seen during the Mast's last round. It was an unprecedented scene. The crowd was a sea of Indiana Fever blue and Iowa black and gold jerseys for the first time in the tournament's history. Traditional golf caps and polo shirts were more common, as were Caitlin Clark jerseys. Before the first group even teed off, vendors were allegedly caught off guard and sold out of Clark-related products. There was more than simply excitement in the air. The excitement of seeing something that no one had ever seen before was palpable. A turning point that went beyond athletics. The voice of the announcer, who was now speaking on behalf of the Indiana Fever, resounded from the University of Iowa. Greetings, Caitlin Clark. The course was holding its breath. They all paused, realizing that they were witnessing a cultural phenomenon entering a completely new arena rather than just an athlete.
This is booming when Caitlin is involved. Pro-Am tickets are $25, and event organizers saw demand increase 1,200% for the Pro-Am because of Clark, one of the most popular figures in the sports world. 1,200%. Oh, it's because of me too. No, it's not. No, it's not.
This was no longer only a golf competition. Everyone in attendance knew they were about to witness something that would be discussed for years to come because it was a Caitlin Clark show. The moment of truth then arrived. It was her first time driving. Usually saved for an unexpected deaf playoff, there was a lot of attention in the air. Thousands of fans fell silent as she climbed atop the tee box, a reverence so intense you could hear the birds far away call and the soft wind rustling the grass. The young woman in a golf skirt, a basketball star with a driver, had everyone's attention. She seemed to shut off the outside world as she performed her pre-shot routine. Then she made contact with a swing that was shockingly accurate for a novice and incredibly athletic. Across the immaculate green, the sharp, explosive crack of the club striking the ball reverberated like a thunderclap, a sound that indicates a fresh force has arrived. The ball took off in a strong, flawless arc. A pristine blue sky with a white missile. landing cleanly past the 270-yard mark, a distance that would be astounding for any seasoned amateur, let alone a novice in the sport, while sailing through the air with what appears to be a premeditated intent. A wave of genuine, unadulterated excitement and shock swept across the throng. Desperate to be the first to report the news, reporters go for their phones. The track was illuminated by camera flashes like 1,000 paparazzi.
The W, just the presence alone of Caitlin Clark, they understand what that could do for their sport. They understand that, let's say 1,000 new eyeballs, 10,000 new eyeballs show up. If only they could get a fraction of those new eyeballs to become fans, they understand that's a win.
A subtle nod from one GOAT to a prospective one was witnessed as Tiger Woods watched from the sidelines with a modest, knowing smile and an expression of genuine appreciation. Later on, Steph Curry remarked, "It was the best first swing I've ever seen." It was a very significant compliment from a fellow basketball golf hybrid. She was referred to as a natural crossover talent and declared to have revolutionized golf forever in stories that quickly went viral on the internet from Golf Digest and ESPN. However, the immediate and overwhelming accolades she received from the golf community contrasted sharply with the criticism she had endured throughout the WNBA season. Some claimed that a coworker was more interested in reducing her loudness than making it louder. Everyone who was watching saw the juxtaposition. And that's when the narrative takes a contentious turn because the golf community celebrated making memes and highlight reels.
Caitlin Clark's name affiliated with the event. They know the pub that it's gonna bring and everything that's gonna come with it. So obviously they're gonna do what's best for business. Unlike the WNBA, let's be clear here. It's just so funny, and I said this in a video.
There were two distinct voices from the basketball community that were glaringly absent. On all of their social media accounts, Io Wilson and Angel Ree, who had been so outspoken and critical during the WNBA season, did not offer any congratulations. This wasn't merely a small mistake. For many, it validated a pattern that had been developing for some months. On the court and in the media, there was a Cold War. Throughout the season, Clark was publicly called privileged in a way that seemed to disregard her talent and hard work, and she endured a physical barrage of harsh, blatant fouls, some of which were later upgraded by the league after review. She was frequently the subject of harsh personal disparaging remarks. However, some fans and pundits believed that the league did not adequately publicize her historic, record-breaking debut season, frequently emphasizing teamwork above her unique appeal. After her golf victory, the quiet seemed like the last piece of the puzzle. Her victory in a different sport, where her unadulterated athleticism was evident, seemed to be the final demonstration of her exceptional transcendent fame. A celebrity that some of her colleagues in the league itself didn't appear to want to embrace or felt intimidated by. The supporters who had maintained throughout the season that Caitlin Clark's humiliation was the result of a premeditated, concerted effort thought they had been proven correct. This telling silence from her most notable on-court adversaries now lends credence to their theory. Clark's response from the golf world, on the other hand, could not have been more dissimilar, telling a story about two separate sports. On the green, she was greeted as royalty despite the fact that she was frequently viewed as an outsider in her own sport and a newbie who needed to be put in her place. The world's best golfer, LPGA star Nelly Korda, personally approached Clark on the practice range and said, "You're welcome here. This is where you belong." An inclusive gesture that said a lot. Maria Fassi, another elite player, told reporters that Caitlin's enthusiasm is genuine and that she brings a fire we've been missing, emphasizing the beneficial influence she may have outside of ticket sales. This went beyond simple civility. Her generational star power and its enormous potential to expand the game were strategically recognized with a keen eye. The golf industry, which is sometimes perceived as conservative and conventional, recognized the potential impact she could have on business. They were aware that even a small portion of Clark's millions of fans could become brand new, devoted golf enthusiasts by purchasing goods, watching broadcasts, and going to next events after witnessing the tangible, irrefutable 1,200% increase in ticket demand. In contrast, other observers claim that the W botched the bag by failing to fully capitalize on her entrance. Seeing a once-in-a-lifetime chance, the PGA and LPGA prepared the red carpet. They decided to rejoice when they spotted a rising tide that could carry all boats. A corporate choice that also seemed to be a sincere welcome for a unique athlete. However, the event that would truly make history and solidify this day in sports history was still to come. The scene was set on hole 7, a difficult, long par with a well-guarded green and a small fairway. Even seasoned PGA professionals occasionally found it difficult to overcome this hole, which frequently resulted in bogeys or worse. With every step she made in the direction of her ball, the crowd, still humming from her previous drives, dropped into an anxious hush once more. With her eyes fixated on a distant target, Clark set up her shot while exhibiting a rather natural calm. She took a noticeable, deep breath, focused for a moment, and then swung. It was a pure contact. Perfectly white against the expansive blue sky, the ball soared. As it flew, the audience's eye was drawn by its faultless and forceful trajectory. With a soft, encouraging thud, it touched down on the front of the green. Then, as though under the guidance of an unseen hand, it started to roll endlessly, heading straight for the pin and stopping just inches from the cup. A birdie tap that had an eagle-like quality. The crowd's gas evolved into a shout of adoration and sheer surprise, a shared outpouring of wonder. The scoreboard revealed the astounding fact that she was 13 under par when she finished a round. Not only had Caitlin Clark performed admirably, with a score that would have been competitive in the main tournament, she had broken the previous PAM record. The commercial impact was immediately measurable and indisputable. Event planners eventually disclosed that Clark was the only reason for the 1,200% increase in demand for prom tickets, which are typically inexpensive and simple to obtain. After examining the stroke, Tiger Woods was heard describing it as one of the cleanest, most confident swings I've ever seen from a non-pro. The final endorsement from the man who revolutionized the game. The public's perception of Caitlin Clark changed dramatically and permanently after her momentous accomplishment. A profound shift in perception that occurred in real time throughout a digital environment. There was more to social media than just buzz. It blossomed into a major cultural event. On Twitter, Caitlin Clark golf was the top trend worldwide. However, that was only the start. Videos of her swing were all over Instagram and TikTok. The roar of the fans and that almost amazing putt on the full 7. Memes that likened her to well-known multi-sport athletes like Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson went popular. The discussion was no longer limited to basketball circles or even golf fanatics, even though sports analysts on debate shows were compelled to shift from their typical subjects to analyze what this all meant for the future of athletics. People in the general public, who might not be familiar with anything other than a birdie, were captivated by it and recognized the significance of a superstar going outside her sport. And in the middle of this worldwide celebration, the fans who were spearheading the internet craze highlighted a particular telling aspect. They saw that Wilson had shared an Instagram story that same day, but it was a well-planned advertisement for a marketing partnership that made no reference to Clark's historic achievement. In the public's opinion, the contrast could not have been more striking or devastating. While one woman was being praised as a generational talent on a worldwide scale, the other was involved in ordinary marketing influence, a business-as-usual approach that felt incredibly out of tune with the historic moment taking place in the sports world.